The power of the pause is one of the most underrated yet transformative tools in personal finance, and it starts with one simple act: waiting. In a culture driven by instant gratification, where one-click purchases, flash sales, and social media fueled consumerism dominate our daily routines, the ability to pause just for a moment can be the difference between mindless spending and mindful saving. The pause is not about denial, it's about decision making. It creates space between impulse and action, allowing you to ask yourself critical questions like, do I really need this? What problem am I trying to solve with this purchase? How will this affect my financial goals? These moments of reflection are where financial growth truly begins. Research in behavioral economics shows that delaying a purchase, even by 24 hours, can significantly reduce unnecessary spending, because the emotional high of wanting something fades quickly when faced with logic and time. This practice not only helps prevent regretful purchases, but it builds discipline. Each pause strengthens your ability to control emotional spending habits. Pausing gives your brain the chance to switch from its emotional, reactive state driven by dopamine to a more rational, strategic mindset. It's the gap where you shift from being a consumer controlled by external marketing to an intentional individual guided by your values. Over time, this habit compounds. Small savings from avoided purchases add up, and more importantly, the muscle of financial mindfulness strengthens. The pause also protects you from marketing traps designed to bypass your logic. Sales tactics like limited time only, last chance, and only two left are engineered to make you feel urgency and scarcity, two emotional triggers that override rational thinking. By inserting a pause, you neutralize their power. Even just walking away from a store or closing a browser tab sends a powerful message to yourself: I am in control. The pause also helps you recognize patterns. You may start noticing that you tend to spend when you're bored, stressed, or seeking a quick mood boost. These insights can be eye-opening and lead to deeper changes beyond money. They touch your emotional health and self-awareness. Moreover, the power of the pause extends beyond individual decisions. It reshapes your entire relationship with money. It invites you to slow down in a fast world, to reflect in an age of reaction, and to lead with purpose in your financial life. Over time, this leads to smarter spending, better savings, and a growing sense of confidence in your financial future. You begin to see money not as a fleeting source of momentary happiness, but as a tool for freedom, security, and aligned living. So the next time you feel the urge to buy something on impulse, hold your money and pause, not out of fear, but out of power. In that quiet moment of stillness lies the ability to choose to redirect and to honor your long-term goals over short-term desires. It's not dramatic or flashy. It's quiet, simple, and often invisible to others. But it's in that invisible pause where real financial transformation begins. Impulse vs. intention is a battle that plays out daily in the minds of millions of consumers, often without them even realizing it, and learning to recognize and separate the two is a powerful key to financial freedom. Impulse spending is reactive. It happens in the moment, triggered by emotions, boredom, stress, advertising, or even a fleeting desire to reward oneself after a hard day. It's when you buy that gadget you didn't plan for, the outfit you don't need, or the food delivery you weren't craving until you saw it online. These purchases tend to be emotionally charged and unplanned, offering short-term satisfaction, but often followed by long-term regret. On the other hand, intentional spending is thoughtful and aligned with your values, goals, and priorities. It's driven by clarity, not craving. When you spend with intention, you're not just asking, do I want this? But why do I want this? Does this purchase support my future, or is it distracting me from it? The core difference lies in awareness. Impulse is unconscious. It bypasses your rational thinking. Intention is fully conscious. It requires you to slow down, reflect, and make a decision that serves your bigger picture. Marketers and platforms are well aware of our susceptibility to impulse and design experiences that maximize it. Flash deals, countdown timers, push notifications, endless scrolling. All of these exploit human psychology, especially the brain's reward system that releases dopamine during surprise or novelty. This means that impulse buying isn't just a lack of discipline. It's a biologically reinforced habit loop. But the moment you begin to notice the difference between wanting something now and wanting what's best for your future, you begin to interrupt that loop. You move from reactive to responsive. That's where intention begins to win. Intentional spending is not about restriction, it's about alignment. It allows you to enjoy your money without the guilt that follows impulsive buys, because you know that every dollar you spend is moving you closer to your goals. Whether that's paying off debt, saving for a trip, investing in your growth, or simply building peace of mind. In fact, many people find that when they begin spending intentionally, they don't necessarily spend less. They just spend better. They buy fewer things, but better quality. They make fewer purchases, but more meaningful ones. And they feel more satisfaction, not because they bought something, but because they chose it with clarity. It's also important to understand that impulse isn't inherently bad. It's natural. What matters is not eliminating it entirely, but becoming skilled at identifying it before it takes control. That awareness creates a pause point, a chance to shift into intentionality. You can build systems around this awareness, a 24-hour rule before buying non-essentials, budgeting with categories that reflect your real priorities, or simply writing down a wish list instead of buying on the spot. These small habits make a huge difference over time. They move you from feeling like a victim of your spending habits to being the architect of your financial life. The war between impulse and intention is not won in a single day. It's won in dozens of small moments where you choose to ask, why, instead of just saying, yes. The more you do it, the stronger your sense of control becomes. And in a world constantly pulling you toward more, faster, and now choosing intention is the most powerful act of resistance and self-respect you can practice. The magic phrase is a simple yet transformative mental tool that stands between you and an impulsive financial decision. A phrase you say to yourself in the heat of the moment to regain clarity, self-control, and alignment with your long-term goals. In the whirlwind of consumer culture, where advertising is expertly designed to trigger your emotions and override your logic, having a mental anchor like this phrase is crucial. It might be something as simple as, is this worth more than my peace of mind? Or, will this bring me closer to the life I want? Or further away? And it works because it creates a pause and reframes your decision through a lens of purpose. When you're about to make a purchase that wasn't planned or budgeted, your emotions, excitement, stress, boredom, or even insecurity are often at the wheel. That's when the magic phrase steps in like a voice of reason, redirecting your attention from the rush of right now to the consequences of later. This single line can snap you out of a spending trance and bring you back into conscious decision making. It acts almost like a personal mantra or financial checkpoint, reminding you that you have agency, that you're not powerless against the pull of impulsive spending. It can also reinforce your identity. For example, saying, I'm the kind of person who spends intentionally, or I value my future more than this momentary want, not only interrupts the behavior, but slowly rewires your self-image. Neuroscience tells us that language affects thought. So repeating powerful identity-based phrases helps you internalize new beliefs about yourself and your financial habits. Over time, this practice shifts your mindset from scarcity or lack to empowerment and choice. The magic phrase can also be customized depending on your personal goals or values. If you're saving for a big dream, your phrase might be, "Does this matter more than my dream home?" If you're focused on debt freedom, "Is this worth delaying my debt-free date?" Tailoring your phrase gives it emotional weight, which makes it more effective. And the beauty is, once you begin to use it regularly, it becomes automatic. Your brain learns to insert this pause naturally, which is the foundation of sustainable habit change. It's important to note that the phrase isn't meant to induce guilt or shame. It's a tool of empowerment, not punishment. It doesn't tell you, "Don't spend." It simply asks, "Is this spending what you really want?" Sometimes the answer will be yes. And that's okay, because the key is that it's a conscious choice, not an emotional reaction. The phrase gives you control without rigidity, awareness without judgment. It helps you become the kind of person who thinks before spending and values the long term over the temporary. Over time, those few seconds of inner dialogue, those micro moments of self-awareness, compound into powerful financial outcomes. You'll notice fewer regrets, more savings, and most importantly, a sense of pride in how you handle your money. That pride reinforces the habit, creating a positive feedback loop that makes intentional spending your new default. So, the next time you feel that familiar tug to spend, whether it's an online deal, a trending product, or a retail therapy moment, hold your money, breathe, and say the magic phrase. It could be the most powerful sentence you speak all day, not because it changes the world outside you, but because it changes the world within you, your mindset, your habits, your future. Delayed gratification is one of the most powerful financial principles you can master. Not because it's about denying yourself joy, but because it teaches you to trade short-term pleasure for long-term peace, freedom, and fulfillment. In a world built for speed, convenience, and instant reward, choosing to wait is a radical act of self-respect and self-control. It's saying, "I believe my future is worth more than my momentary craving." The concept of delayed gratification is grounded in both psychology and success science, most famously demonstrated in the marshmallow experiment, where children who resisted the urge to eat one marshmallow immediately and waited to receive two later were found to have better life outcomes in terms of health, career, and financial stability. This illustrates a deeper truth: the ability to wait, to pause, to endure temporary discomfort for future gain is a core indicator of long-term success. Applied to money, delayed gratification is the difference between compulsive spending and thoughtful investing. It's the quiet decision not to upgrade your phone, not to buy the shoes on sale, not to take that vacation on a credit card, because you're saving for something more meaningful: financial freedom, debt freedom, security for your family, or the ability to walk away from a job you hate. Every time you delay a want, you're not just saving money, you're strengthening your discipline. And like a muscle, discipline grows with use. At first, delaying gratification might feel like a loss, but over time it becomes empowering. You begin to realize that you don't need every new thing to feel satisfied. You learn that contentment doesn't come from having more. It comes from wanting less and aligning your actions with your priorities. The temporary dopamine hit from impulsive spending fades quickly, but the pride that comes from meeting a savings goal or resisting a purchase you would have once made without thinking, that pride lasts. It builds identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who just can't help it and start seeing yourself as someone in control. This shift is profound because our financial lives are shaped less by knowledge and more by behavior. And behavior is shaped by habits, most of which are invisible. Delayed gratification makes the invisible visible. It forces you to confront your triggers, your patterns, your emotional relationship with money. Maybe you spend to soothe stress, to avoid boredom, to fill a void. Maybe you grew up with little and now overcompensate by indulging every want. Whatever the case, delaying gratification brings awareness, and awareness brings change. It also helps you escape the trap of consumer debt, which is often just instant gratification on borrowed time. Credit cards, buy now, pay later schemes, and loans encourage a mindset of have it now, pay later. But what they really mean is enjoy it now, stress later. Delayed gratification flips that equation. You wait now, enjoy fully later, without strings attached, without interest, without regret. And the beauty of this practice is that it compounds. The money you don't spend today doesn't just sit idle. It can be saved, invested, or redirected toward dreams that truly matter. That's when financial momentum kicks in. What started as a small act of waiting becomes a powerful engine of wealth building. You begin to see that every no you say now is really a yes to something greater. So the next time you're tempted by something shiny, trending, or emotionally soothing, remind yourself you have the power to wait. You have the vision to see beyond the moment. You're not sacrificing joy. You're choosing a deeper, more lasting kind. That's the essence of delayed gratification. Not about restriction, but about liberation. It's the doorway to a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Needs vs. wants is a deceptively simple concept that holds the key to mastering your financial life. Yet in today's consumer culture, the line between the two has become increasingly blurred, making it harder to make clear, conscious spending decisions. At its core, a need is something essential for your basic survival, security, and well-being. Things like food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, and transportation. A want, on the other hand, is something that adds comfort, convenience, status, or pleasure, but is not essential to your daily functioning or safety. However, thanks to marketing, social media, and peer pressure, many wants are cleverly disguised as needs. You don't just need a phone, you need the latest one. You don't just need shoes, you need the trendiest pair. The real danger arises when you consistently prioritize wants over needs without realizing it, leading to lifestyle inflation, chronic debt, and a constant feeling of not enough. Understanding the difference between needs and wants isn't about deprivation, it's about awareness. It empowers you to make informed choices based on your values and goals, rather than being driven by impulse or societal expectations. One powerful habit is to question every potential purchase with a simple filter. Is this a need or a want I'm treating like a need? That single question can radically shift your financial behavior. For example, eating out multiple times a week might feel like a need because it saves time, but it's usually a want rooted in convenience. Upgrading your wardrobe for a new season might feel necessary, but if you already have suitable clothes, it's a want. This doesn't mean you can never spend on wants. It means you do so intentionally after you've prioritized your needs and ensured your financial foundation is secure. The key is not to eliminate wants, but to manage them wisely and in proportion to your income and goals. When you consistently cover your needs and allocate for savings or debt repayment first, you can then enjoy your wants guilt-free, knowing they're not sabotaging your future. What's more, examining your needs and wants also helps you clarify your personal values. For some, a gym membership is a want. For others, it's a need tied to mental health and physical wellness. For one person, a car might be a necessity for work. For another, it could be an expensive want when public transportation suffices. That's why this exercise must be personal. Only you can determine what's truly essential in your life, but you must be brutally honest in that assessment. Financial growth begins when you stop lying to yourself about what you need. Another benefit of this clarity is that it reduces emotional spending. When you're aware that a purchase is a want, not a need, It creates space to pause, reflect, and possibly walk away. You're less likely to justify spending based on emotion or impulse because you've already drawn clear lines. Over time, this awareness becomes a superpower. It allows you to stretch your income further, reduce wasteful spending, and funnel more money into things that actually matter, like building an emergency fund, investing, or pursuing goals that align with your purpose. It also fosters gratitude, because when you focus on your needs being met, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of sufficiency. You realize that you already have much of what you need, and that abundance isn't always about acquiring more. It's about appreciating and managing what you have. So, when in doubt, ask yourself honestly, is this a need or a want I've convinced myself is a need? That awareness alone can protect you from countless financial missteps and bring you closer to the life you truly want. Not one driven by consumption, but by conscious values-based choices. Financial confidence is not about having a certain amount of money in the bank. It's about having the clarity, control, and self-trust to make wise financial decisions, no matter your income level. It's the quiet inner belief that you can manage your money with intention, resist unnecessary temptations, recover from setbacks, and build a future that aligns with your values. In a world where financial anxiety is the norm, cultivating financial confidence is a revolutionary act. It begins not with wealth, but with awareness, knowing where your money goes, understanding your spending patterns, and facing your financial reality without fear or shame. The more you understand your own finances, the more empowered you feel to take control of them. Confidence builds as you take small, consistent actions that reinforce your ability to make smart choices, creating a budget that reflects your goals, building an emergency fund, saying no to unnecessary purchases, paying down debt, or simply checking your bank balance regularly instead of avoiding it. Each of these steps sends a powerful message to your subconscious: I am capable, I am in charge, I can handle this. That message grows louder the more you act on it. Importantly, financial confidence is not perfection. It's not about never making mistakes. In fact, true confidence comes from knowing that even if you slip up, you have the tools and mindset to get back on track. It's resilience. It's the understanding that your worth isn't defined by your net worth, and that progress matters more than perfection. As you strengthen your discipline and decision-making skills, by holding your money and asking the right questions before spending, you begin to trust yourself more. And that self-trust is the foundation of financial peace. Instead of reacting to money with fear, guilt, or confusion, you respond with calm and clarity. You become someone who doesn't panic at unexpected expenses because you've prepared for them. Someone who doesn't chase validation through purchases because you know your worth isn't for sale. Confidence also allows you to tune out the noise of consumer culture and make choices that are right for you, not what society, influencers, or advertisements tell you to buy. When you're financially confident, you stop comparing your lifestyle to others because you know what truly matters to you, and you've built a plan to support it. Whether that means living simply, saving aggressively, investing in your passions, or building generational wealth, your financial life becomes your own. This inner confidence spills into other areas as well. Relationships improve because you communicate about money more clearly. Opportunities expand because you're no longer held back by debt or insecurity, and your overall sense of well-being grows because money is no longer a source of chaos, but a tool for freedom. Financial confidence also creates momentum. As you make wise choices and see the results, more savings, less stress, better control, you become motivated to keep going. That motivation leads to consistency, and consistency leads to transformation. It's a compounding cycle. The more confidently you handle money, the more your financial life improves. And the more your financial life improves, the more confident you become. And all of this starts with the simple habit of being intentional, pausing before spending, reflecting on your needs and goals, and choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. So, financial confidence isn't something you wait to feel once you've made it. It's something you build every time you honor your values, respect your budget, delay gratification, and trust yourself to handle money wisely. It's not loud, flashy, or dramatic, but it is incredibly powerful. Because once you believe you can manage your money, you unlock the ability to manage your future. In a world where spending is easier than ever and financial pressure is everywhere, hold your money and say this is more than a phrase. It's a call to intentional living. It reminds us that every financial decision is a choice between who we are now and who we're becoming. So pause before you purchase. Ask yourself the hard questions. Learn to distinguish between a fleeting want and a meaningful need. Say the magic phrase that grounds you in purpose. Does this align with the future I'm building? Practice delayed gratification, not as punishment, but as preparation. Build financial confidence by choosing clarity over chaos, planning over panic, and discipline over desire. Remember that your money should serve you, not the other way around. Track your spending, stick to your values, and don't let culture define your worth by what you consume. Freedom isn't found in the next item you buy. It's found in the self-control you build with every wise decision. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present and intentional. Heavenly Father, thank you for the resources you have entrusted to me. Teach me to be a faithful steward of my finances. Give me wisdom to discern between needs and wants, strength to resist impulsive spending, and clarity to make choices that honor you and protect my future. Help me pause before I spend to ask the right questions and to act from peace, not pressure. Shape my heart to find joy not in things, but in purpose, generosity, and gratitude. I surrender my financial life into your hands. Guide me, provide for me, and help me trust that what I have is enough because you are enough. Amen.